You wake up to warm breezes, palm trees, and the sound of waves. Or maybe it's birds in the cloud forest. Your rent is half what it costs back home. Your healthcare costs are lower. That's not a fantasy. It's Panama for some gay retirees. If you're looking to retire abroad, you're not alone, and you're in the right place.
This is Queer Money episode number 642, and because several of you have asked, many of you, today we're turning our eyes to see how Panama stacks up for gay retirees. Ranked from 5 to number 1, with number 1 being the most affordable, leaning into affordability, as well as being gay-friendly overall.
And it's actually episode 624, not 642. My husband has number dyslexia. Hey there, it's David here in cold Ohio. Real quick, I want to tell you to skip the cliches when it comes to freedom. Invest in real mobility through the Optimized Portugal Golden Opportunities Fund. More about that from John in just a bit. So coming in at number 5 is the city of David, my namesake. In English, we would say David. It is the capital city of the Chiriquí province. Now, the reason why David is a fabulous city is actually, it was previously known as David City. So that's why it's just referred to it as the city of David. It is the largest city in Panama that is not a part of the Panama City metro area, which is the largest area or city in the country. It is the capital of the Chiriquí province in the northwestern part of Panama. It is an affluent city within 30 minutes of several Pacific beaches and mountains and farmland. It's a practical hub with hospitals, shopping, and an airport without the big city chaos. So this is a city that has reliable infrastructure and good hospitals. So you're looking at a fairly decent sized city here. The reality check is that it's not a party town. And as a matter of fact, almost none of the cities in Panama, as the Spanish would say, the queer scene here is quiet and mostly underground. You're going to need some Spanish in your day-to-day life. If you're out at grocery stores, you're going to find that you're going to see some brand names that you actually know. Especially there are some large Costco size stores because there is a brand there that used to be Costco. So you're going to see some things that you recognize. They're probably going to be the same price or even a little bit more than what you would expect to spend here in the US. So you're not getting a deal here. If you're looking for deals, you're going to want to go with the local brands. As for the queer vibe here, it is very low key. It is present. You'll find queer expats through social circles rather than nightlife. It is safe here, but it's not rainbow forward. There are some LGBTQ organizations in the city here. When it comes to your wallet, your average 2-bedroom is going to run for around $700 to $900 a month. So your cost of living here is about 55% cheaper than Fort Lauderdale. And that's going to be our touchstone for this whole episode, is the cost of living compared to Fort Lauderdale. For all of these reasons and a bit more that we'll share later, we're giving it a Queer Money retirement rating of 5 out of 10. This is probably one of the lowest we've ever given.
Coming in number 4 is Pedasi. This is located in the top of the Azuro Peninsula in the Los Santos province of Panama. Why is it fabulous? Well, if you're dreaming of small-town beach life with sunsets, surfers, and a slow pace, Pedasi definitely delivers. It's charming, it's scenic, and it's deeply relaxing. The reality check, though, is it's remote. Medical care and major shopping do require travel, and social life can feel a little bit limited, especially if you crave community energy. For larger grocery hauls and for more in-depth healthcare services, some people will drive to the Chitre region, which is about an hour away, or Las Tablas, which is about 40 minutes away. So if that kind of a drive is not in your future, then maybe Pedasi is not in your future. As for the queer vibe check, it's friendly, but again, it's very, very subtle. You'll likely meet queer expats through yoga studios, beach cafes, and through word of mouth. There aren't necessarily any gay bars or gay organizations of which to speak. As for your wallet, an average 2-bedroom rent goes for between $700 and $1,000 a month. And relative to Fort Lauderdale, the cost of living is about 50 to 55% cheaper overall. It's more remote and requires longer delivery times for getting food and whatnot. So everything's just a little bit more expensive. If you want to see how far your dollars will go in retirement, wherever you go for retirement, definitely check out the new and improved Happy Gay Retirement Calculator that David has put a lot of time and effort into. If you want to check that out, you can grab the link in the podcast player if you're listening, or you can check out the description in YouTube if you're watching. For all these reasons and a little bit more, as we'll discuss later, we're giving Pedasi a 5.5 out of 10 on the Queer Money Retirement Rating Scale. Disclosure here. This episode is a teaser. It's not the full travel brochure for Panama. Guidance, not gospel. Do your own research, set your own budget, and choose the lifestyle that fits you. This isn't one fit solution for everybody. This is one example of Panama, not the whole picture. Your life, your money, definitely your decisions. And we're not financial advisors anymore. We were very experienced and former financial advisors, but we're not currently registered as of today.
Thanks for the disclosure, John. So coming in at number 3 is the city of Coronado. Now, Coronado is an extremely developed and gated beach community that's located on Panama's Pacific coastline. It's actually really close to Panama City, and that's one of the reasons why it is fabulous. It has this beach town and a vibe with modern conveniences. Think condos, golf courses, and grocery stores. It is, again, just an hour and a half away from Panama City, which there is a relatively low cost. I think it's less than $5 bus ride that you can take in a very nice bus to Panama City if you want to get into the city. Here, the climate is very similar to Florida. And one of the nice things is it is in that hour and a half drive away from Panama City, there is a Johns Hopkins affiliated hospital. So you have some proximity to some good healthcare. Reality check here is that it can feel a bit expat bubbly. And what do we mean by that? Think golf, like we said, golf courses. This is where you're going to typically find your typical American retirees. It's less culturally immersive. There is pretty much no nightlife here, especially gay nightlife. The queer vibe here, again, it's quietly inclusive, especially if you're a gay couple. And you won't find clubs here, or you will find queer retiree couples, especially in these various developments. So be careful and cautious if you're wanting to move to an area like Coronado. As far as your wallet, you are looking at a 2-bedroom running around $1,200 to $2,000 a month. It's one of the more expensive areas in Panama. The cost of living here overall is about 45 to 50% cheaper than Fort Lauderdale. But keep in mind, it is a lot of high-rise condos and it is close to Panama City. So for those reasons, you're looking at a lot of high demand. And so for all of these reasons, we are giving this a Queer Money Retirement rating of 6 out of 10. As far as Panama, many of you have requested us to cover Panama. I think a part of the reason is if you are close to or talking with other retirees, especially non-queer retirees, Panama City or Panama in general, is a very popular place for Americans, in part because it is a US dollar-based economy, so there isn't that exchange. It does have a very strong American influence, so a lot of parts of Panama look and feel like you're in Florida. So I'll let you judge as to whether or not that's something that you want or you don't want. The further you get away from Panama City and tourist areas, you're going to have to speak Spanish. The other thing about Panama is that it's a very Catholic country. And for that reason, there are not the same kinds of protections that you would see even in America. Same-sex sexual activity is legal, but same-sex marriage and related benefits are not recognized. One of the interesting things that we found out was that even in the police code, homosexuality is labeled as a grave offense. So there are no protections against harassment. So I would say the further away you are from passing as a typical binary person, you are going to probably encounter some of that kind of harassment. And also for these reasons, we don't encourage you to do any sort of cruising. Be careful with hookup apps and with public displays of affection. However, we did find that there is a large Afro-Panamanian population. It's growing and it has a welcoming culture. And for that reason, there's a growing number of Black expats that are moving, or it has a large growing expat presence. You may find a little bit more of some queer acceptance in those areas.
Now for our runner-up, which is Boquete. This is also located in the Chirichi province of Panama. It's got cool mountains there, lush greenery, and a strong expat scene that all make Boquete a longtime favorite for gay retirees, especially if you don't want tropical heat year-round. It's also known for its coffee and hiking, which could pretty much fill up my day.
Coffee first, hiking later.
Exactly. It's up near the Puerto Rico border, so that's about an hour and a half plane ride to, and it's also an hour and a half plane ride to Panama City. Reality check, though, it's more retiree heavy than, say, diverse, and it can feel a little bit sleepy, and there's really no nightlife to really speak of, especially for LGBTQ plus people if you're looking for gay bars, clubs, or organizations. As for the queer vibe, it's generally considered LGBTQ plus friendly. It's welcoming. But again, as David said, you want to be cautious about how maybe proud you are. It might not necessarily fly the way it does here in some parts of the United States. As for your wallet, your average 2-bedroom rent goes for about $800 to $1,100 a month. Cost of living relative to Fort Lauderdale, Florida is about 50 to 55% cheaper. For all these reasons, we're giving it a Queer Money retirement rating of 6.5 out of 10. And if you like our content, please rate us by liking, commenting, subscribing, clicking on the bells and whistles, and sharing with your friends, family, and partners who want to retire abroad, especially with your hubby or your wifey. And last year we covered the top 5 surprising places but off the map locations for LGBTQ plus retirees. That generated a lot of discussion on YouTube. A number of you who are all polyglots and professors of maps, I understand, scolded us for suggesting that Coronado is on the beach. I made a mistake. Coronado is not on the beach. I switched our notes around and I forgot to QC our homework before we recorded. So that was definitely a mistake, and we agree. We thank you all for your graciousness on that mistake.
Graciousness.
The next time we're going to cover, also by popular demand, the wonderful country of Germany. I know a lot of people have pushed back on Germany, but
it's where I was born.
A lot of people have asked us to also cover it. And then, of course, this week we're covering Panama. As always, please let us know what we get right, what we get wrong, and your personal experience in Panama or any of the cities that we're discussing.
Hello from sunny Florida. Like you, your IRA deserves better than bland. With Optimize, you can roll it over into the Portugal Golden Opportunities Fund, keeping tax perks, building wealth, and unlocking Portugal's Golden Visa. Click now in the video description to discover more.
All right, coming in at number 1 is, of course, the largest city in Panama, Panama City. Why is it fabulous? Well, Panama City is a combination of modernity, lots of modern high-rise buildings, but also it has a charming old part of the city, which is definitely a little bit more on the cultural side. It is an international city. It has energy like an international city. There's lots of skyscrapers, ocean views, rooftop bars, world-class healthcare. It feels a lot like Miami, but it doesn't have the Miami prices. As we mentioned earlier, there is a Johns Hopkins affiliated hospital in the city. So there is a higher level of healthcare here. We actually do know that some people have talked about it being a place for medical travel. The reality check here is that there is a lot of traffic. It can be very humid and very noisy. Some of the neighborhoods are far more LGBTQ friendly than others. So definitely want to do your research about that with a local realtor or individual who can help you with renting a place if that's what you desire. As for the queer vibe check, it is the best in the country for a gay scene. You will find gay bars, drag shows, pride events, visible queer life, especially in neighborhoods like Casco Viejo and El Cangrejo. I think I pronounced those correctly. There are 3 bars we want to call out. XS Club, which is the letter X, the letter S, and then Club. Envy, and then BLG Bar. As for your wallet, it is one of the more expensive places, maybe not as expensive as Coronado, because there is a little bit more of a variety of neighborhoods to pick from. So you're going to find that your 2-bedroom is going to run anywhere from around $1,100 to $1,400 a month. And that is, keep in mind that there are premium areas and then there are going to be lower cost areas. The lower cost areas are probably going to be the ones that may have a little bit more grit to them. Let's just put it that way. Overall, the cost of living here is about 44% cheaper than Fort Lauderdale, so it's a little bit more expensive, especially considering all of the things that are necessary here. This is definitely an area where you will need a car. As for the Queer Money retirement rating, we're giving it an 8 out of 10.
So Panama checks a lot of boxes: affordability, solid healthcare, retiree-friendly visas, and if you choose the right city, a supportive LGBTQ plus life. If you want quiet and affordable, look for Pedasi or David. If you want community and cooler weather, look for Boquete. If you want urban energy with clear visibility, Panama City is definitely the clear winner here.
So which city sounds most like your vibe? Let us know in the comments. Up next is an episode about the 10 ways you're sabotaging your retirement. And until next time, stay fabulous. So if you'd rather live in Florida instead of moving abroad, check out this video here about the best cities in Florida.